All right, well, hey, let's get started here. All right, go to the next slide. All right, everyone. Nope, go back, go back, go back. There we go. Let's start there. Uh, like I said, we want to welcome all of you to the Oracle Cloud webinar. Each of these are information, all right? Just information letting you know about future changes that's going to be coming. As you can see, January 1st. I want to share this quote by John D. Rockefeller. And he said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." I love that quote because so many times we like to hold on to what we think, wow, this is good enough, what we're already doing. But John D. Rockefeller said, don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. And Oracle Cloud, there are some great things. I've been working with the team from Oracle, and there is just some great tools that we have, but it's important that you're open to these new changes. All right, next slide. So here's the agenda, what we're going to be discussing with my colleague, Don Jenkins. The first, just kind of overview. We're going to talk about what's new, what's changing, how can I prepare to go live. And as far as questions, we definitely want you to write down your questions. But at the end, Don is going to give a email that you can email your questions to, because we want to make sure that we answer your questions. All right. No question is off limits. So we want you to really ask questions about several things, but we'll have a platform where you can send an email to send your questions, and we'll make sure that we will deal with them accordingly. All right, next slide. So what's new? Oracle Cloud will empower the city with new functionality in an intuitive and user-friendly system. We're going to take a look at some of the new modules and what we can do with them. Next slide. So today we're talking about time and labor, quick and easy time entry. Looking at prep time, work plans, and clocking in and out. Oracle Cloud Time and Labor has one of the best in class integrations for the absence and payroll module. Everything is automated, from the absent entries on time cards to the creation of retro entries in payroll. The greatest thing about this module is no more having to enter information, no more having to enter employee information. All new and updating information within Oracle HCM will flow right into time and labor. So the whole focus of this, we're trying to focus on working smarter and not harder. All right, next slide. The highlights of OLT. Here are some of the highlights that you will be introduced in Oracle and time and labor: real-time calculation, prep, payroll prep time, and minimal errors. The first one, real-time calculations. Overtime and premium hours are calculated in real time. They will be displayed in a review screen before a time clock is submitted. This will ensure that the city has maintained compliance with FLSA. The next one, payroll prep time. Within the new standard process and dashboard in place, this will help decreasing time needed to prep for payroll, because now you will be able to see the transfer failed time cards with real-time monitoring. The last one, minimum errors. With various pay rules in place in Oracle, the probability for errors are drastically reduced. So great information. All right, Don will take it up from here.
Okay, excellent, Dr. Banks. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to transition us into the highlights of OTL, and I'm going to share some of the highlights that you will be introduced in Oracle Time and Labor. And The first one being the single source of truth. One, with leveraging a single source of truth for time-related data, this will allow to eliminate multiple system integrations. In time clock, the integration process of moving time cards out and into Oracle is a tedious task with lots of complications, which could lead to payroll errors. The second, best-in-class integrations between absence and payroll model allows an automatic flow of absence entries in time card and auto creation of retro entries in payroll. The next one being no more employees profile creations. So no more having to enter employee information and access, which is a huge benefit to the payroll clerks. I know they're excited. All the information of the employee created in HCM will flow right into OTL. That includes new hire and assignment changes. Next slide. So next, we're going to talk about absence management, making diverse and complex requirements manageable. So I invite you to read along on the three modules, sections that highlighted approval framework, absence plans, and financial planning. As I inform you that the city has many manual processes that will now be automated through approval workflows and absence plans. In addition to, with absence management in Oracle, the city can also plan effectively with the ability to reduce the effects of absenteeism, at such cost, risk, and productivity. And you'll see you create approval workflows. In the next, we'll go to the next slide. So let's discuss real quickly what's changing. Oracle Cloud is, as you see, is transforming the way we operate by standardizing processes, improving transparency, and eliminating manual and paper-based tasks. So let's explore some of the changes and how they will help us. So the first one with these changes with absence, the first one being the carryover process. Carryover would run automatically as before in Oracle EBS. The process was manual, but also now with PTO, term period will be aligned with the calendar year, so you can expect it to be January to December. Second is the PTO payout. PTO payout will be automatic upon termination or loss of eligibility. This too was a manual process in the Oracle EBS, but now saving payroll clerks more time and payouts are made on time. The thirdly, again, leave donation, which again, another manual process now being automated. The donor will now be able to initiate the donation process through employee self-service, and all the approvals will be done in Oracle. So mentioning all these manual processes that we have been doing is exhausting. Now that we are in Oracle Cloud, automation is the key word. Let's continue on with some processes that you will be seeing. So process changes with absence. So the buyback process and best-in-class integrations. So the first, buyback. Employees will be able to initiate the buyback process through employee self-service portal. The approval process is an automatic process done all in cloud. So no more manual entries. Second, just like in OTL, with integrations between the modules, data will flow automatically between OTL and payroll with the absence module. So, as you see, it says, how can I prepare for go live? As Dr. Banks indicated, which is January 1st. As you see in the picture, that's when we're launching. Remember that date. Book that date, January the 1st. And we want to share 3 things for you to remember. First, in our training sessions, Oracle Cloud Training Calendar is a city public calendar that you can subscribe to. You will be able to see all the training sessions that are available, and it will invite you, and invites will be going out to everyone. So keep that in mind. Second, your focus. Here's how we want you to handle that. Multitasking is great, welcome skill and tool, but for this particular training, it can hinder your focus while attending the training sessions. So we want you to try to stay focused, so when it's time for us to go live, that you will be ready to do just that, go live. And lastly, your e-portal. On the e-portal, there is a section called Oracle Cloud. There you will find a library of training material and videos, as well as seeing the news updates of what's going on with Oracle. So also, you always refer to your e-portal. Lastly, we're at the end. So we want to thank you all, again, as Dr. Banks says, for taking time to join us today with this information. And as you see on your screen about questions, this webinar is intended to share some information of what is coming with Oracle. Now, if you have a question, please shoot us an email at our web address on your email address on the screen, which is oraclehrhelp@chattanooga.gov. We promise you your questions will be answered there and responded to in a timely manner by those designated or subject matter experts. So thank you again. Stay tuned for the next module coming up, and good luck.
I see a couple questions that are being entered into the chat box. If you could also email those questions to the link that's on the screen, we can help address those and send those out. Your questions that you're submitting into the email, we're also going to build a fact sheet off of those, so we can hand those out to everybody across the city in case they didn't happen to think of the question that you asked. So please, any questions that you have, email to oraclehrhelp@chattanooga.gov. Once again, thank you for attending the webinar. We'll have another one coming next Friday, so keep an eye out for the invite. This will conclude this webinar.
Thank you.